The creation of characters and worlds is a practice that, while integral to storytelling and narrative, is an art in and of itself. The work of South African artist Mary Sibande explores this art, pushes it to the point that her characters and her worlds seem to take on their own creative power and tell their own story. Sibande's sculptures, photographs, and installations, in her series titled The Purple Shall Govern, construct new spaces for radical change through intense, saturated color, organic sculptural forms, and immersion through installation. The collection, a project lasting from 2013 to 2017, spans various media, with one common motif being purple sculptural elements. The collection's title references the 1989 Purple Rain protests in Cape Town, South Africa, in which police sprayed anti-apartheid protesters with purple-dyed water, marking them for later arrest. In response, protesters co-opted the phrase "the purple shall govern," reclaiming the brand of rebellion as a brand of leadership, of progress. Mary Sibande's use of purple in this series and its title continues the work of reappropriating the anti-protest police tactics into a declaration of power, a declaration that those who fight against apartheid and patriarchal colonialist structures are those that will inherit the future that they build through the course of revolution and opposition. Two other motifs figure prominently in almost all of the pieces. The first is a character named Sophie, portrayed either by a mannequin in the gallery or museum spaces, or by Sibande herself in digital photographs. The second prominent motif is the presence of tangled masses of purple fiber that spill out from Sophie's stomach in most of the pieces in this series. The cotton tendrils vary in shape, size, and method of display, but their forms always evoke the organic. Some seem to be roots or vines, others tentacles, organs, or umbilical cords. They conjure the visceral imagery of living things spreading, growing, latching on, and strangling. The physical creation of these tendrils by Sibande, and the depiction of them subsequently being created by or emitted from a female figure in these artworks, literalizes the birth and propagation of revolutionary activism and ideas created by South African women. The depiction of birth amplifies narratives of African feminist social movements as represented in Sibande's sculptures, which then expand, propagate, and exist to create powerful and beautiful new worlds of their own. This creation of new worlds is especially prevalent in a few specific pieces associated with Sophie's purple phase. In a reversed retrogress, scene 2, the fabric tendrils cover Sophie. The tendrils extend from behind Sophie and crawl up the wall. The purple sculptural elements invade and claim the space for themselves. The sculpture is not only present in the gallery space, but it transforms the space as well. In the purple evolution, Sibande creates her own room, an immersive subspace inside the gallery. Directly in contrast with the white walls of the gallery, this subspace is dark, lit only by purple lights, with Sophie's tendrils crawling up the walls. To examine this piece, a viewer would have to enter under the roof, effectively entering this new, strange world that Sibande has created. This act of immersion pushes even further in a later piece of Sibande's, a crescendo of ecstasy. In the large, purple-lit installation, a viewer that enters must navigate hanging purple sculptural elements to access a large mask of Sophie's face, containing VR goggles that display a 3D rendered version of the space. The installation piece incorporates virtual reality as a means to see Sophie's world through Sophie's point of view. This sort of natural progression is what lets the series do its work. The work first establishes this character and the implied world that she inhabits. The consistency of Sibande's use of colors and sculptural forms establishes a continuity between the works. Then the work transforms and creates new physical spaces that viewers can enter. Finally, beyond just entering an environment, the nature of the physical forms of the cotton sculptures and complete use of purple lighting submerges the viewer in the piece, gets them to interact physically with the piece. The visual experience becomes a tactile one as well. The design, form, and medium of the piece necessitates engagement and exploration. So what exactly are the viewers engaging with? What are they exploring? Let's return to the historical context. Sibande's work is a continuation of the movement towards self-governance and democracy in South Africa. The focus on Sophie as a character emphasizes women's roles in these movements. The root-like expansion of her ideas is a physical manifestation of that ongoing movement. A movement that, again, like roots or vines, expands and changes the world around it. The saturated, pervasive purple color both fills space and illuminates, turning those that enter the space the same color. The pieces construct a new world for people to interact with, a world that African women have created and therefore govern. The piece asserts that to govern is not just to rule or dictate, but it is to create the reality in which one lives. This purple reality, where the purple govern, is just one of the countless imagined futures being not only imagined, but manifested into the physical and digital realms by people on the continent of Africa and the diaspora.